Sleep apnea training for dentists. Why is sleep so important? We're dentists and we think about teeth. Why are we asking people how do they sleep? My name is Paul, Dr. Nacho Goodman. I'm so excited to be here with Dr. Jeffrey Harrison of Sleep Group Solutions, awesome key resource and sponsor. And we're going to deliver awesome value to you about what we should be doing in our practices. Dr. Jeff, you are a dentist. My brother's name is Jeff, one of my favorite names. So how did you go from drilling to asking people about sleep? Tell us a little about your journey.
Hey, Paul, thanks for having me, first of all. It was by accident, like a lot of things that we discover in science, total accident. So I'm halfway through my career. It's about 2007. Had just finished a bunch of full mouth reconstruction type of dentistry. Thought I was, God's gift to mankind doing dentistry. And then, unfortunately, those guys were in their mid-30s, about my age at the time, and their dentistry lasted their lifetime. They were gone in 6 to 12 months. I failed to ask the question, why do these guys have such attrition in their teeth? The same year, my youngest daughter developed all the classic signs and symptoms of a pediatric sleep-related breathing issue too. So that was the big light bulb aha moment. And it just forever, from that point forward, shifted my career to be this kind of modern concept of dentistry with this umbrella of airway over it. And I think if more dentists slowed down long enough to learn about it, it would improve the quality of care that we deliver and forever alter their professional journey too.
Love that story, and I love the story about your daughter. And we have these aha moments. We have these, like Bob Ross said, happy accidents that happen in our lives and career that get us to think in a different way, reframe things. And once that happens, you can't unthink it. You can't undo it. I want to share that we had an amazing dentist until he retired. He's still doing some sleep, come to our practice and do sleep apneas twice a month. And I thought sleep apnea training was a total scam. I thought it was totally made up. But I said, you know what, Dr. Dave, come and do this in our practice. You talk to our patients. And I sent out one email, Jeff, to my entire patient list. And I said, hey, everybody, we have a sleep apnea dentist doing free screenings at our office. I got immediate responses from patients. And it really woke me up to say, I have not been paying attention, and now I need to start paying attention. And what he's done for our patients has been fantastic. I know you know these stories, but in the Dental Nachos world, we aim to kind of get people to get off square one. My first implant, my first practice purchase, right? Talk to us a little bit about, if you're a dentist watching this or a team member, and you've never asked anyone about sleep apnea, how do you get started with this?
There's a lot of assessment forms and validated screening issues that we can use, but the ADA has been asking all dentists to screen all patients since 2017.
And I want to interject. I don't interrupt. I interject with good ideas, Jeff. That's what I tell my wife. I'm not interrupting. The ADA says this, but then doesn't really tell you what to do next, right?
Exactly. That's why I have this job.
Yeah. Hey, everybody, make sure you don't get any viruses on your office computer. And what do we do next? We're done with telling you. So, yes, so I like what I just wanted to pause and say, I've heard this. Dr. Davis said this. We've had people who work with Sleep Group Solutions, awesome sponsors, do webinars. But it just is some empathy for us dentists, because it's like, go do this thing. How do I do this thing? Well, we're not going to give you information. So the ADA says we should be screening for it. I'll let you jump back in.
So to me, screening can be done during a routine hygiene exam. It can be done during a new patient experience exam. And it's just simple questions. You're taking a blood pressure on this patient, and you can ask them in a polite way, have you ever been told that you snore? Are you aware that you make noise while you sleep? Do you feel excessively tired to where if you could take a nap most days, that would be really great? Has anyone ever observed during your sleep that you pause or breathe poorly? And then do they have hypertension? So this is the STOP of a stop-bang assessment. The BANG is, are they overweight? Are they over 50? Do they have a big neck where you can't get the bib clip around their neck, or you got to link two together? Do they identify as a male? And then I'll add a ninth letter, another G. It's when you look at their teeth, is there evidence that they clench and grind? Three positives in that means they need to have their sleep evaluated further. Now, the ADA doesn't ask all dentists to encompass this into their practice. It just says screen and refer, or screen and treat. And so when dentists kind of start to investigate, get to a seminar, we've got them online, we've got them in person. Lately, what I've been doing is coming to your practice spending a day in your practice running a sleep department so you can see the potential that you're sitting on, and then follow it the next day with just a full day of education. Have the team or some of the doctors experience what a sleep test at home is like, because since 2008 that has become kind of the new norm. We don't have to go to the sleep lab. It's actually, most insurances require an at-home test first because it'll capture 90% of the problems. And so that's what Sleep Group does, is we've got all of this kind of in a bundle for dentists that want to increase their business and build a whole new revenue stream inside their practice. And so that's
I love it. I mean, those are the tools we need. Those are the tools we need to succeed, whether it's implementing implant dentistry, whether it's implementing clear aligners. So when people want to implement this, they need the resources and people who are doing this. So just walk me through again with Sleep Group Solutions, how you come into the practice physically, right? You can do that. Brandon wants to join us. He's welcome to if he wants to, but come into the practice physically and work with the team. What are the things Sleep Group Solution leaves behind? Do they leave you training tools? What are the things that you would leave behind after that training?
We're going to leave behind the potential to have a whole new revenue stream in your office if you decide to engage. But it was kind of alluded to earlier, like once you see sleep and your problems in your patients by looking at their teeth, it's hard to unsee it. Once you learn it, you can't unsee it. It is there every day. I kept data from 2007 to 2017 when I sold my restorative practice, and I found that 2/3 of my patients needed further evaluation.
Yeah.
I was able to successfully screen about 96% of them, so there's always that few handful that are kind of weird about it. They don't want to talk about it. They just won't give you time of day. But I thought I did pretty good. Of the 2/3 that I screened that needed further testing, what we found was half of them actually went through with getting a sleep study done. And I've tried 4 or 5 different avenues to get it done. I've leased equipment, I've bought equipment, I've had it in the practice, I haven't had it in the practice. So I always say I can teach you all my mistakes so you don't have to go make them.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, that's how a wise person does things. A wise person learns from mistakes of others. Now, our dental people. I run Dental Nachos. I love working with dentists, and I'm a dentist, and I know it's tough enough to bill out sometimes for scaling and root planing. Just talk for a minute. You're a dentist. You want to do this thing. You want to help patients. You see that it's both patient-centered and productive, But then you say, how do I start billing for this? What does Sleep Group Solutions do to provide these tools for you?
So we partner all of our clients with a third-party biller. So they don't really have to do anything with the billing other than tell the biller what they did, collect the information from the patient, and then communicate. That's usually the hiccup, the obstacle, is the office fails to communicate with the biller. The office gets mad because, like, where's my money? How come I'm not getting paid? And then the biller's like, you never told us what you did. Or they don't have the diagnosis, or they don't have the software that keeps all of the checklist in order, all the documentation that you need in order to get through the hurdle of medical insurance. That's probably the biggest challenge out there. But we don't even need to worry about that until the end, because we can't bill for this like in dentistry. Like it has to be completely.
It's a whole different nacho plate of billing there. And that's why, I found that you really need to also dial in that part as much as the treatment part. So we're talking with Sleep Group Solutions, Dr. Jeffrey Harrison, awesome nacho sponsor. So basically there's an opportunity here for general dentists across the country to help more patients, make more money, and have more fun. Because I assume, Dr. Jeff, while it is fun to do full contact arts and crafts, drill on these teeth, do class 2s, it's also fun to be able to help someone without picking up a handpiece. That's what Dr. David Slobodinsky said to me, close friend who worked in our practice. It's great, of all the dentistry I've done, barely anyone thanked me. But these sleep appliances, I'm getting letters and hugs. Tell us about that patient impact from not picking up the handpiece, but doing something different.
Yeah, I'll tell you, Paul, it's, you'll do a smile makeover and they'll be happy in the beginning. Tears of joy when they see the provisionals, the tears of joy when they see the finals. And then a lot of them, appointment after that, start to say, well, why didn't we do this?
Yeah.
Or, this is off. Or like, how come this is, the engineer is the classic one. Like I measured it. It's 1 degree off.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay. But in sleep, and sometimes you have to have that elevator pitch. So if I'm at a conference and I've got DDS on my badge and someone asks me in the elevator, what are you here for? I'll usually say I'm here for a sex therapist convention or a marriage counselor, because when people have a bed partner that snores, and typically the empty nest comes into play, so they've got extra bedrooms. Well, they start sleeping in separate rooms, and this is like the first step towards ultimately probably breaking up the relationship. Yeah. And my last patient that I saw clinically, it was a saved marriage, and I didn't know it at the time. It was just that was what came out at the end, and I'm like, what a great way to kind of hang up everything and ride off into the sunset. But now I get to help a lot of other practices, and I hear all the stories coming back, and so
I mean that's the stuff that's just amazing. Being a dentist is a combination of awesomeness and annoyingness. I mean, it just is. And when you can have more awesomeness, where you can save a marriage, save a life, help people feel better about themselves, in a way that is just so transformative. I'll share a story from our practice. I never forget when we had Dr. David Slobodinsky come in for these consults, the screenings. I saw a patient who I knew well, and she was going back to the operatory. Then I saw the spouse. I said, "What are you doing?" She says, "I'm making sure that she gets this done because the snoring issue." And I actually one time roomed with someone who had a significant snoring issue, who did wind up needing a sleep apnea appliance, someone who from dental school. And it was a brutal experience. I didn't sleep 1 second during that trip we went on. So, sleeping with someone who snores and doesn't stop, not only is it a huge health issue for them, for that bed partner or roommate, it's a big deal. So I just really have to say for myself that I need to be more, I never judged things with my mouth, Jeff, where I said I thought it was a scam to other people. But in my whole life, I said, oh, these dentists doing this, it's scams, it's like TMJ. And then I really, had the reality shown to me in my own patients. So I want you to just catch us up again with one more thing. You're a dentist watching right now. You scroll by Facebook Live. You see this on demand. Dr. Paul Nacho Goodman talking with awesome Dr. Jeff Harrison of Sleep Group Solutions, awesome sponsor. What's the first step? Just do they contact Sleep Group Solutions to go to a seminar? What would you do if you went back to the future like Michael J. Fox in a DeLorean? And what would be your first step?
I always say if I could build that time machine and go back, I would have partnered with Sleep Group myself. For many years, I did sleep without it, and that's why I think I failed 3 or 4 times before I finally found the way. But there's great companies out there. We're one of them. We're the only one that provides the total package. Like some companies will teach you the software side of it. Some will give you testing equipment, and so you get one piece of this complex puzzle. But we as a whole, I think, are the leader in the industry as far as practices performing well in sleep from A to Z. So, sleepgroupsolutions.com or sleepgs.com will get you there. I've also got a landing page that I can put into the comments later on that they can go to and just put in name, address, phone number. And we have a couple different avenues like we were talking about. It's not just the seminar model anymore. We found that during COVID, we had to make it an online thing, and then we kind of all got zoomed out, and like any more time on my computer, and I'm going to just, take it out. But what's working well right now is that personal in-office visit, and just the team doesn't have to travel. We'll come to you, show you what it is like in your practice. The thing that I didn't really mention earlier is all of that dentistry that, you put in and all of a sudden it cracks or breaks. Like in the beginning, it's somebody else's problem. It was their work. It was that bad dentist over there, whatever. But when it's your own work, or you look at it and you're like, what have you been doing to that? That's the light bulb moment. And how I would pitch it to patients is like, we're going to invest in your smile and restoring your mouth, but we got to come to reality with what's the root cause. And if we don't address that, you're going to break everything that we put in there.
I always say this, Jeff, what you said is great. My uncles need a lot of implants right now, and they're in their early 70s. And they go, Paul, I got to spend even though I give them the family discount, I got to spend all this money. I said, your mouth is like a running back that plays NFL football every day. So if you just go back there on the field and keep on grinding and keep on eating nuts, you're going to blow out your knee. They go, that was a really good explanation. So I think what you shared about these full mouth rehabs is there's no magic wand where if you don't get to the root cause, you're just getting them back in there for another year of that game, and they come back with things broken down.
Yeah, and I've got 3 docs that are clients and friends of mine, but I consider all my clients friends. And that they were so busy, like, well, how am I going to get this in my practice? And so all they did is went back and tested everyone they had ever made a flat plane night guard for.
Yeah.
And they started testing them, and they called me, all three of them called me within 3 months. And they're like, it's 90% of these people had OSA that were undiagnosed. And that's the alarming statistics. We know at least 1/4 to 1/3 of the population today has this. We're getting fatter and fatter every year. We're getting older. There's no stopping it. We're getting sicker. And when we breathe through our mouth, it's kind of funny because we make commercials about it and sitcoms about it. But if we don't breathe through our nose, we don't produce nitric oxide, and that leads to chronic inflammation. And so if we get back to the implant story, well, you're going to invest all this in the implants, but what if you've got like long-term chronic inflammation going on throughout your body, and all of a sudden you wonder, well, why that implant didn't take, or why did your scaling and root planing not work on this patient? Typically, it comes back to inflammation.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a big fan of ATQ, ask the question. And now the questions to ask are the questions to ask your patients about this, and also ask yourself, why are you not getting involved? And at least, Jeff, and I know you guys do so much great work, go to a seminar and just start screening patients, and maybe you refer them. Go to a seminar and start feeling better about yourself as a total care practitioner. You know, you don't have to go from step one to treating 100 cases a year, but some people do want to do that. So I so appreciate your time. I want to share, you can text SLEEP to 215-543-6454. I always say dentistry, Jeff, you got to keep your crying on the inside, your sweating on the outside. I am doing one of the most stressful things human beings can do. I'm in the middle of moving soon. So, you know, that's why I'm in my moving gear, but that's why your dentist, keep your sweating on, stop sweating by drilling on teeth, keep doing it, but also just think of doing something different. I mean, I don't know. I think, would you say most of the people that embrace this, they find it to be fun and relaxing in a way?
Yeah, for sure. But in dentistry, you're going to make money like 3 different ways. It's going to be your own hands, it's going to be a hygienist or an associate's hands, or it's going to be a care coordinator or a well-trained assistant that's either doing orthodontics or sleep, and you're supervising. And so many practices are losing the opportunity, one, to better serve their patients, protect their dentistry, but also increase their bottom line.
And I love what you shared. I had a good time. I want to let you get prepped for the game mentally soon tonight. But we sell practices for dentists, and the thing I hear over and over, my team just heard this today, is I want to sell my dental practice, but I would love to go do sleep in other practices. So it's a skill that you can do even after you hang up the handpiece. And I think that's another really valuable point.
Yeah, it's a good transition strategy. It's a good mobile platform strategy. It's a good internal source of revenue strategy. Like we work it a lot of ways, and that's where I come in. I'm the consultant for the office and figuring it out. You know, I've done it a few different ways over my career, and so that's the expertise that I bring for you.
Awesome, Jeff. Well, hang around for a minute. I want to say bye to our Facebook Live group. Thanks so much for being an awesome sponsor, Sleep Group Solutions. To learn more about Sleep Group Solutions, text the word SLEEP to 215-543-64.